Let's start from here, Andrew. Let's delve into that. I mean, we're talking about the government shutdown. I don't know what day we're on the government shutdown.
Yeah.
What week?
Long.
It seems like a blur, and people watching, I don't really think they care what day we're on. It's whether or not needs and services are met. So what are your initial thoughts?
I mean, just to say the desperation, I'm not it's crazy to see people who are on an everyday experience, middle class, however hard they're holding on to it, but get up every day doing what they can to make a way for themselves and for their families. And not from a sense of struggling necessarily, but really a sense of empowerment. These are jobs, careers that they aim for, they got them. And to one day be secured in that position, bringing home your regular income, doing the things that you are regularly obligated to do, rent, mortgage, food, so on and so forth, and maybe even leisure in life. So now find yourself standing in a food bank line has to be more than a blow to just your stomach, right? I mean, there is so many questions of how do I get here? How did we get here? How did the government go from being an institution that's supposed to exist to uplift and to support us and to have our back should we ever find ourselves falling through the net? It is the catch safe. But what happens when that government becomes, right, the problem? It becomes the crisis. It is self-invented. And then the president doesn't care enough to see it resolved to come back from Asia, maybe not have gone, maybe to deal with his own government, which is shuttered, his own government employees across the range of the federal government, the largest employer in the United States, not having the basic needs that they need to survive. And the fact that we have a Republican president, a Republican majority in the U.S. Senate, a Republican Speaker of the House, and the Republicans collectively controlling the whole of government, it's a shame that they can't keep it open.
I mean, I was thinking about even more than that, these MAGA talking points of America first, and we just spent $40 billion bailing out Argentina. And even when people talk about SNAP benefits and EBT, I had a friend of mine who just texted me 2 days ago. I was talking to Ellen about it, and he was like, "Can you help me with Thanksgiving? Because our EBT is not going to be starting the first. It's just not going to be the same." So. I've been thinking about this, like, that's where I'm from.
Yeah.
Denmark, South Carolina is a poor rural community, Bamberg, poor rural community. So how do I stand in the gap?
Yeah.
A community that poured into me so much. So I'm like calling on the phone. I'm talking to Charlemagne because he does like 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
Like, how do we make sure that we do these? So I got my partners, we going out scraping up turkeys and other things just to stand in the gap. So that's kind of the tangible thing you're doing to make sure that you have the cans of, and I don't even know if everybody who's watching this fully grasp it. I think many do, but not everybody. But you have like the cans of cranberry sauce, and you go and get a couple of sweet potatoes, and you get maybe one of those 5 or 6 pound, and you just hand out as many as you can so that people can have that fellowship that is Thanksgiving, because we're here now. But coming up, in a couple of days, those cards aren't going to be refilled. They're not.
There are some places where they're already not like out of commission. There's no SNAP, and for those of you at home, food stamps are also what we're talking about. I think that because we're saying EBT and SNAP, and we all do it interchangeably. If you have the card, it's EBT, right? But I think there are a few things. One is there's a woman I saw online talking about she's already skipping meals so that she and her significant other can eat together at night. The other thing that I think is really important for us to understand is normally people are providing food around the holidays in particular, but there are people hungry right now. They're hungry. And this is not a shot to what you're saying at all. It's important too.
Yeah, I need to move
But how do we make sure that you got it. That we answer the call, right? That we literally answer the call, no matter where it's ringing, and hopefully we'll get to it quickly. Because at the end of the day, we are all we have. There is no reason why we can't meet the needs, especially when so many of us have an abundance. I will tell you just this one point. This is actually shameful. I throw away so much food. I order a lot of food. Y'all know, like, we sit down and we eat and we want to try all the things. Maybe now the call is maybe we don't try that one thing. We order an extra entree and ask somebody nearby if they need it, if they want it.
But I'll just tell you, I have someone in my immediate family, as we've talked about, who gets food stamps, and even the amount that people get is not a robust amount. And there are so many restrictions on how you can spend the money. Now, thankfully, in my family, I can subsidize the needs of my immediate family member who gets this benefit. But we're definitely looking at a reassessment of my finances and a reassessment of hers, because what I've tried to say is when this benefit goes goes away, we should not make the assumption that it will return. And so even though SNAP benefits are from the federal government, they are administered by the states. And so states have the option to tap into emergency funding to keep this going. But the thing is, if they tap into that, that will take away from something else. Yeah. And I think the danger is a lot of people, when you're hungry, you don't care. And we're looking at people, I'm in such a place of privilege that I can subsidize my family, but there is actually a lot of sound from people in these food lines, to your point, who definitely need the help, like this woman here.
We didn't hurt anybody. We don't deserve this.
What does having this distribution mean?
It means a lot to me. It means the world to me what they're doing, because sometimes you feel forgotten. You go to work to help people. That's our job, to help people. That's all we do. We go in every single day. This is day 28. The last paycheck we got was for 7 days through the end of September. And that's it. But we've been there every single day. We've been there every day. Who's thinking of us? We didn't hurt anybody. I promise you, we give our best. We have good people that go to work every single day to give their best. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
One, that was some kind of heart-wrenching, kind of emotional sound that we've been talking about. I wanted to make 3 policy points. The first thing that people need to know is that there is enough emergency reserve fund for the government to keep this open for another 2 to 3 weeks.
There's enough money to open it, period.
But I'm just saying, like, they have the reserve fund for 2 to 3 weeks. Now, that's not a long time, but we're talking about people literally going hungry. So if anybody wants to say, oh, if Democrats open up the government today, then they're not. No. Donald Trump has made a conscious decision, and sometimes cruelty is the point. Mm-hmm. Number 2, there is something that you can do. I mean, Democratic governors can sue, and 30 of them have, or excuse me, attorney generals have sued, 20 of them have sued the United States Department of Agriculture, where these funds come from. So if you're in a state, I'm on Alan Wilson's ass. Republican, he wants Donald Trump's endorsement, so he's not moving. However, like, we have tens of thousands of people in South Carolina that are going hungry simply because you want Donald Trump's endorsement. Yeah. And so you need to file suit to the USDA and do your job to represent South Carolina first. And the last thing is, which is somewhat policy, somewhat humanity, is fundamentally there is this belief, and I see it I see it amongst Republican elected officials, I see it on X, I see it on Instagram, why don't people get a job?
That's so crazy.
But it just discounts the fact that we have a working poor in this country, and that a lot of they say, oh, all these immigrants are. But what about,
no, you can't get it if you do not have a job. In most states, you can't even pull down the benefit without the work requirement. The work requirement is the point.
Most of the
unless
people
you're differently able.
Most of the people are white.
Of the majority of recipients.
Yes. So I'm just like the racial undertones and the xenophobia that comes along with this debate is something that has been rubbing me the wrong way.
But the other thing that I think we have to take stock of is going back to this discretionary fund. They have the ability to fund SNAP benefits for 3 weeks, as you said. And then in those 3 weeks, guess what happens? The continuing resolution that they would have passed that would have been very harmful would be up anyway. The next CR is November 21st. So they can fund it literally through the next CR to hopefully get people through at least their Thanksgiving groceries. Maybe it's because, to your point, Tiff, it's still not enough money. Mm-hmm. Most of the folks have to get some type of subsidy, and certainly are working more than one job. Mm-hmm. So I think this is the point. And I guess my plea to all of us would be, while we know we should be able to rely on our government for support, policy is supposed to be people first. If we cannot, we still have each other. And I was saying on the Afrotech stage earlier, because that is why we are in Houston, that I think it's so important for us to understand how reliable we are as human beings. My algorithm has shifted because I posted enough of the folks who've been filling in the gap around SNAP. The free lunch for government workers, even for the folks who've been furloughed or laid off, free lunch for government workers. Come get a meal. You can get fried fish, shrimp, whatever. And then also coming to get groceries from farmers, farmers that have said, come and take whatever you want. This is yours. I am so encouraged by that because it tells me that the humanity is not gone. Like our empathy is not gone.
I value that, Angela. The resilience of people is like the hero story in this, but it angers me to no degree that in the wealthiest nation in the history of the world, that we're talking about people having to rely on their local pastor's generosity or their local neighbor's charity in order to pull down on what are basic human needs.
Native Land Pod is a production of iHeartRadio in partnership with Reason Choice Media. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or